Hi everyone, welcome to the Coach to Coach conversation about the coaching experience. I'm Sophie. I'm happy to sit down today with Matt Rogers, experienced coach with 25 years experiences, and he's a founder and CEO of Significant Coaching and Recruiting. He replaced the word success to significance. He wrote books about it. And actually, and honestly, he raised the bar for me today as well. So hopefully we will have a great conversation and the listener will know so many things about you and from you, Matt. So welcome here. I'm so excited. How are
Hi,
you?
Sophie. Thank you for that very kind introduction. Yes, I'm excited to talk to you and excited to be a part of the Self Coaching Institute.
Oh, thank you so much. So let's begin. Could you tell us why coaching and how you came across with this fantastic profession?
It's a funny story. I tell it a lot. I'm the youngest of five children, and I was born 11 years after my four siblings. So
Mm-hmm.
all my siblings were out of the house by the time I was seven, and
Okay.
my youngest sister had a baby when I was 7 years old. So I was Uncle Matt at 7 years old as a second grader. I was an uncle. And for some reason, that little girl, who's now 42 years old, changed my life and all of her cousins that came after me. So very early on in life, I was taking care of babies and I was having to teach and coach and play and have rapport with children. And the older I got, the more I got into sports, and that became sport coaching and
Mm-hmm.
coaching basketball and baseball and golf and all those great sports. So coaching's been a part of my life since I can remember. And I have my parents were great coaches. They weren't professional coaches, but they did a great job of teaching me. And my dad was a great coach in teaching me skills. So it's just something that brings me great joy.
And if you need to define what makes a coach as an excellent coach, what would it be?
I think a coach is someone who can look into your soul,
Mm-hmm.
help you find your potential and
Mm-hmm.
help you reach it, whatever that may be in life, in sports, and business, and careers. Coach is someone that can help you accomplish something that maybe you're doubting in yourself, and they
Yes.
help you reach that pinnacle that maybe you didn't think you were capable of in doing it on your own.
Yeah. Yeah. Great definition. This is what I believe as well. And
Right.
you mentioned about sport people, and I read about you that you have athletes as well. But do you work with people outside of sport, or this is your niche?
Sports is very much my niche. I was a college basketball coach and a director of athletics for a long time. So coaching student athletes is a big part of my life. And obviously I have a business where I help student athletes all over the world
Mm-hmm.
get seen by college coaches in the United States and help them get college scholarships, help them get looked at, help them get a home so they can get an education and keep playing. But I do some life coaching. I help adults who are going through career changes, life changes that just need someone to kind of guide them through um, a difficult part of their life and need someone just to be a friend and listen and give advice. I also consult for colleges and universities,
Mm-hmm.
them with their athletic programs and help them build their teams and help them build their policies and procedures and
Wow.
really, like every coach, helping them make the lives of others happier and healthier,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. This is the greatest nature of us, I believe so, that we can be happy for someone else's successes as well. So
Yeah.
this is just great. Throughout the 25 plus years, I believe you have a lot of stories, good and challenging as well. Would you share one with us? I leave it on you if you want to share a challenging one, it's up to you, or a very nice motivational one as well.
I could probably give you 100 stories, but I think the one I tell a lot is about a young man that played basketball for me in college. And his first year, he'd been on campus for maybe a week. And I remember him walking into my office and saying, Coach, I appreciate you recruiting me. I appreciate the opportunity, but I don't think this is for me. I'm going to go home. And home was about 4 hours away. And he was 18 years old and first time away from home. And I looked at him and I wanted to be as serious as he was. And I said, I completely understand. It's a tough transition going from living with your family for 18 years to now living in a different place. And I go, I noticed you drove to campus in a really nice car. I go, what kind of car is it? And he told me what kind of car it was. And I go, I think I used to drive something like that. I want to see the key. Isn't there a unique key that goes into the car to drive the car? And he goes, I don't know how unique it is. And he pulled it out and he handed it to me. And I looked at the keys and I opened up my drawer and I dropped the keys in a drawer and I locked the drawer.
Oh,
He goes,
wow.
Coach, what are you doing? I said, Tim, his name was Tim. I
Yeah.
said, I believe in you so much. And I want you to give yourself a chance to believe in you as well. So I tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. If you'll stay for 2 weeks, okay, stay here for 2 weeks. And if 2 weeks go by and you still don't want to be here, I'm going to give you your keys back and I'll help you pack to go home. I go, do we have a deal? He put his head down. He goes, all right, fine. Okay. So 2 days go by. This
Yeah.
is a weekend. He came in on a Friday. Monday comes in and he goes, and he walks into my office. I go, Tim, I told you, man, just give me 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That's all I'm asking. He's going, no. He goes, Coach, we had a great weekend. I had so much fun this weekend. I met so many people. I can't imagine leaving. I go, are
Wow.
you serious? And he goes, yeah, I want to be here. So I gave him his keys back. So for me, that's the epitome of who I was as a coach, because I want kids and adults too. I want them to understand their value and I want them to understand their self-worth.
Yes.
And I don't want any kid to ever quit on themselves. So that's a huge part of why I coach, is to help those that need the help find that value, find that self-worth.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I would say that you need to give yourself at least one chance and try it. And how you supported this kid and find a rapport with him is just brilliant, because you supported him, you saw the talent in him,
Yeah.
and you gave him that motivation. I believe in you, so
Yeah.
you need to believe yourself as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And it's great. You made a career for him. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
He's 41 years old and married and has a brilliant life. And he has a life I'm envious of. He's just a great
Well,
young man. And so, yeah, I love him to death and very proud.
yeah. It's great. Some of the coaches say that there is no hybrid model. So what I mean by that, you can't mentor someone and coach someone at the same time. And I wanted to ask you about this. What's your opinion around this hybrid model, let's say?
I think anyone that's in the world of coaching or psychology that gets too caught up in one philosophy can hurt themselves, because every human being is different. Every person I encounter needs a different approach from me.
Yeah.
Some need a kick in the pants. Some need me to give them tough love. Some need me to shut up and listen. Some just need a hug and they need to know that someone's there. So I think when you're coaching, you have to be a mentor. You have to be someone that they look up to. You have to be someone that models an energy and a character and a generosity that they need to see. But you also have to be that person that that needs to be honest with them and direct with them. And that is a hybrid, if you want to call it that. So I'm a big believer that if you're going to be a great coach, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to adapt to the individual.
Yeah, I think so. This is keywords, like you need to adapt. And
Right.
help and support over and beyond, and not stuck in one philosophy, as you said. So
Correct.
definitely agree. But now I wanted to touch up on your book.
Yeah.
What motivated you to write the book, and what is it about, and why you change the success to significance? Because it must be an interesting story.
I'll start with your second question
Yeah.
first. I was probably 23, 24 years old, and I was working at at a university. And I was fortunate enough to hear a wonderful speaker talk. She was a 25-year, 30-year educator, and she started her presentation with the phrase, "I want all of you to replace the word success with the word significance."
Mm-hmm.
And she obviously went on to explain herself. And the idea was, you know, are you a basketball player, Sophie? Have you ever
No,
played basketball?
no,
Okay.
no. I
I can, if you've got a trash can in your office, you could bound up a piece of paper into a ball, and you could probably shoot it from 5 to 10 feet, throw it, and you could make a basket, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And we'd celebrate and go, "Yay, that was success," right?
Yeah.
You have no idea how you did it. You don't know if you could do it again. So the idea of significance is the idea of truly learning who you are, truly learning how to do something very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And you used the word master earlier when we were talking about it, really mastering what you want to do. So when I'm working with young people, I want them not to shoot for, well, I want to go to Cambridge or Oxford or Harvard. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want that to be their goal. I don't want that to be their version of success, because we don't know if that's a good fit for them. We don't
Yeah.
know if they're going to be healthy there. We don't know if they're going to be a good fit there. It might be too big. It might be too small. It might be the wrong culture. It might not have enough diversity.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I want everybody I work with, think about that. What makes me happy first? What do I need? What are my priorities? And then let's put a plan together to reach those priorities. And we
Yes.
may end up somewhere that we didn't think we were going to belong. Look at you. You didn't know you were going to be a coach,
No.
you know?
No. Definitely not.
Look now. Now you're this fabulous person. You're sharing your life, you're sharing your generosity, and you're finding significance in that role. And that's why I wrote the book. The book was to really help young people and their families figure out, how can we do this on our own? How can we do this the right way to take that step from being a teenager to being an adult, so we don't make a lot of mistakes, so we don't fail ourselves, so we don't lose our self-worth in the journey. Let's
Yeah.
let's let's figure out how to do this where we can get to a college or a university and then onto our adult life where we really feel like we're in control of it. We're the one that we're the CEO, we're the boss of our journey.
Yeah. 100%. If nothing else, we are the boss of our life.
That's
This is for sure. And Matt, what do you do when you are not coaching young people, adults? I'm very curious about who you are when you are not a coach. What you do, what motivates you, and yeah, who Matt really is.
Well, I have three great loves in my life. I have my wife, who I've been married to for 27 years, and then I
Wow.
have a daughter and a son. And I made a commitment a long time ago that I wanted that family, and I wanted to have a family I could be proud of and grow with. And they are without a doubt my love and my life. So I go to a lot of my daughter's volleyball games. My son and I, we we play a lot of computer games and talk and play board games, and we play cards. And as a family, we like to golf and play tennis, and we like to hike, and we love movies. So I'm very much, when I'm not coaching, I'm very much an introvert. I'm very much a family guy. I'm very much love hanging out with my core.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Family first,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it's just great how significant sport is for you, not just as a coach, but in your everyday life. You at least listed 5 different sports you do,
Yeah.
when you are not a coach. So we believe that values are very, very important in our life. And I have always 2 to 3 values. They are changing, depend on, my life, the situation. If someone asks you, Matt, what value would you put in the top 3 at the moment? What would you answer?
For values,
Yes.
yeah, I I probably live and breathe by something that an old teacher of mine, when my wife and I got married long time ago, my high school history teacher came to our wedding. His son was my best man. And he gave us a card like most people do at weddings. And I remember opening the card and all he wrote in it was, "Be generous, Jerry." That was it. That's all he wrote.
Yeah.
And and for me, those 2 words have really been my rock ever since. It would have been really easy for me to read that and go, okay, be generous. I need to give to my wife. He wants me to always be thinking about my wife and being generous. And really, what I've learned over the years is he wanted me to be generous in everything I did. Be generous with my thoughts, my feelings, my fears, my anger, my excitement, my joys, and how important that was in any relationship to share all that you are and be open with all that you are. So
Mm.
um, I know you asked for 2 or 3, but that's really the one
Yeah,
that I
one is enough. Yeah.
yeah.
It depends on, someone has one significant one. Obviously, I'm a woman. The woman brain is much more different than man one. We are more complicated. So maybe that's why I have 3, one is not enough.
Well, that's why you're all smarter than us men as well, because you have a lot more going on up there than we do usually.
Yeah. This is for sure. If I need to compare the 2, yes. I also read that you really believe in the power of having a personal journal and
Yeah.
just define our even daily goals. I really believe in that. And when I went through the coaching journey, I really and truly every day wrote down what I want and did the personal journal. Why you believe that this is so significant?
It's a great question. I think there's such a stigma, and I'm sure I carried a little bit. I've done therapy throughout my life, and I think as human beings, we see any type of mental help or mental support as a failure. We see it as a weakness, and it has a really bad stigma. And I think the first step to being okay with asking for help, getting coaching, going to see a psychologist, going to see a counselor, and having someone to talk to about what's going on in your life. I think the first step is to be able to have those conversations with yourself.
Yes.
And I had another great teacher, an English teacher in high school, that in graduation gave me a journal, and she started it for me. She wrote, some great passages. She gave me quotes and really got the ball rolling for me. And I filled that journal over that summer. And I wrote about what I was going through and my transitions to high school to college and growing up and being an adult and relationships. And I found that when I wrote in my journal at night, and I wrote goals for myself the next day, I slept better
Yeah.
because I'm one of those people. I have so many thoughts going through my head, so many things I want to accomplish, that when I had it in my journal, I knew it was there. I knew I could come back to those thoughts. I wasn't going to forget them, and I slept better. And I was able to get good rest. And then the next day I was able to evaluate what I wrote. And sometimes I was like, oh man, I was really in a bad place when I wrote that, or that really makes sense. I'm glad I wrote that down, or
Yeah.
I'm going to accomplish those 2 or 3 goals today. So when I'm working with young people and older people, adults as well, I have them keep a journal. And the big thing I have them start with is set 3 goals every night, 3 goals that you want to accomplish tomorrow. And maybe it's as simple as, I want to make my bed when I wake up.
Mm-hmm.
I want to I want to go for a walk where I'm walking for at least 20, 30 minutes. I want to get some exercise.
Wow.
And I want to make sure I'm not snacking through the day. Maybe I'm going to eat a good breakfast, I'm going to eat a good lunch, and I'm going to eat a nice dinner, but I'm not going to snack through the day. Okay? Because I've had issues with my weight, and I've worked really hard to keep my weight down. And so
Yeah.
those are the things that I work with adults on. So I love a journal for those reasons.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I will start again. I think it's very good when you can reflect back, when you have a good situation, how you handle, you can learn from yourself. And also you can see things, what you, let's say 1 week or 1 year ago considered as a bad situation.
Yeah.
Now you just realize, okay, but that situation taught me something.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned about go to psychotherapy and get help. What I truly believe that coaching can be a prevention of all these mental health issues. But what I see that people are struggling, they don't want to be seen as a weak person. And as you said, it's a stigma. After COVID, I think more and more people try to open up and speak out about, their struggles. But that minute when you realize, yes, I need to invest in myself, my well-being, and connect with myself, that time you start your real life. Because you can buy fancy car, you can buy, high-end clothes. Until and unless you are not okay with yourself, there will be a void deep inside you.
Right.
And always try to run after something or somewhere which is not yours and never been.
Right.
And when you have a coach, a mirror, you can explore yourself and the way you want it to be discovered. And it's just a great thing. And coaches are here for you. You don't need to hide anything. And genuinely, there is no good and bad answer. You don't need to perform. You just need to give yourself a chance to get to know what's going on deep inside you and connect with it. So
Right.
it's just great. And the journal is great. It's very important. And I usually suggest personal journal for the people who come to me, because this is the first step to get to know yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just great that we all think the same at some point. You said that there are so many great mentors in your life. You mentioned about the saying, what you follow as a value of yours. But what would you say to people who listen our podcast and thinking about coaching, or just realize, yes, this is not a bad thing. It's not a weakness. Actually, it makes my life much more happier and fulfilled.
Right.
What would you say to them to encourage them for this journey?
Well, I think we all hunger and thirst for human connection, and not just being in a park together or being in a mall together. We thirst for those that will challenge us. I know my marriage has lasted 27 years because I have a partner who challenges me and I challenge her. We have high expectations for each other, and
Yeah,
and we're disappointed when we don't meet them. And we don't like to be disappointed in each other. So I think anybody that is thinking and considering coaching, it's a great idea. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to finding that right coach. You and I both talked about this.
yeah,
We talked about this in the beginning before we recorded. Not every individual that goes looking for coaching to me is going to be a good fit for me.
yes,
And I tell them that, and I know you do too. You
yeah,
know, we're going to do some exercises. We're going to have some conversations. We're going to make sure this is right before we jump into it together. So I think coaching is really valuable. I think any type of counseling and mentoring is valuable. But it really comes down to finding that right person that understands you, can relate to you, and that can be a challenge at times.
yeah, yeah. And also, I want to say here, we won't do miracle. The miracle is within you,
Right.
as a client, as a coach, and we are really just here to guide people, and the real work is up to you. So without willingness, nothing will happen. So
Great.
this is just great. Matt, we are approaching to the end of this great conversation. I really enjoyed it. Good times flies always. But tell people, please, our listeners, where they can find you and how they can work with you.
Absolutely. The best place to start is on my website at Coach Matt Rogers, and Rogers is Rogers, coachmattrogers.com. I do my own podcast called Significant Coaching,
Nice.
and I have a blog that I write every week to help families through all sorts of situations and adults and kids through situations. But you can schedule a one-on-one strategy session with me through my website, and it's free. And anyone that wants to talk and have a consultation, I'm always happy to do that. I'm always happy to give some honest feedback and get them on the right road, whether they want to work with me or not.
Yeah, you are in America, but you are not restricted to work with American clients. So everyone who would like to connect you, you are happy to work with.
Yes, I've placed 4,000 student athletes on college rosters, and
Wow.
probably 300 or 400 of those student athletes are from different countries all the world, from Hungary to Spain to Australia to Britain, you name it. So I'm always happy to talk and help anybody that would like to have the conversation and to get the help.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your stories. It's incredible what you've been doing so far. Thank you so much for your time and wisdom. And hopefully we will keep in touch and the listeners will realize that how important to connect with ourselves and achieve our goals.
Well, I'm very excited for you, Sophie. I can tell how passionate you are for helping others and coaching. And I know you're going to do very well because your heart's in the right place. So anything I can ever do to help, I'm always happy to have that conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.